词，有毒的、中毒的。
Toxic bachelor.
坏男人。
Intoxicate.
动词，使沉醉，使欣喜若狂。Intoxicate.
How could she become intoxicated after only one glass of wine?
她只喝了一杯酒，怎么就醉了呢？
The prospect of success intoxicates me.
成功的前景令我陶醉。
Intoxicant.
名词，酒类、麻醉品。形容词，使醉的。
Close-minded.
形容词，思想保守的，不易接受新鲜事物的，有成见的。
We're not going to be close-minded. We're going to look at every possible option.
我们不要有成见，我们要找寻每个可能性。
Impertinent.
形容词一，不切题的，不中肯的，不恰当的，不合理的。形容词二，傲慢的，不礼貌的，莽撞的。Impertinent. 妈妈说不合理、不恰当的就不能去拿。Impertinent.
His impertinent remarks wasted valuable time.
他那些不着边际的话浪费了宝贵的时间。
Impertinent curiosity.
过分的好奇心。
The bad reporter is tempted to pose an impertinent question.
那个烂记者打算问不礼貌的问题。
Presumptuous.
形容词，专横的、冒失的、自以为是的。Presumptuous.
It would be presumptuous of me to speak for the others.
如果我替他人发言，显得我很自大。
Rude, cheeky, bold, flip, brazen, disrespectful, presumptuous, insolent, impolite, impudent, discourteous, uncivil, unmannerly.
形容词，专横的、冒失的、自以为是的。
Assiduous.
形容词，勤勉的、专心的、一丝不苟的。Assiduous.
The government has been assiduous in the fight against inflation.
政府一直以来专注致力对抗通膨问题。
Assiduity.
名词，勤勉、关心、挂虑、照料。
Laborious.
形容词，艰苦的、费劲的、勤劳的、勤勉的。Laborious.
Checking all the names was a slow, laborious job.
核对全部名字是件既慢又费劲的事。
Ants and bees are laborious insects.
蚂蚁与蜜蜂是勤劳的昆虫。
Attentive.
形容词，注意的、留意的、倾听的。
She is attentive to her studies.
她学习很专心。
She was very attentive to her guests.
她对客人招待得十分周到。
Diligent, constant, persistent, attentive, persevering, industrious, indefatigable, studious, unflagging, untiring, zealous, unwearied, laborious.
形容词，勤勉的、专心的、一丝不苟的。
Invaluable.
形容词无价的，价值无法衡量的 invaluable 不能以某价格来衡量的，反 valueless 无价值可言的。
embellish
动词美化装饰。
worthless
形容词无价值的、无益的、败坏的。
paltry
不足取的、琐碎的 paltry。
valueless miserable trivial trifling paltry trucidious wretched rubbishy negligible inferior
形容词无价值的、无益的、败坏的。
precious valuable precious costly inestimable
形容词无价的、价值无法衡量的。
The ceiling was embellished with flowers and leaves.
天花板用花朵及叶子美化了。
Decorate, adorn, dress, enrich, garnish, ornament, bedeck, beautify.
动词美化装饰。
Inclusive
形容词包含的、包括的 of inclusive。
The rent is $300, inclusive of heating.
房租300元，包括暖气费在内。
An inclusive tour
包括一切费用在内的旅游。
exclusive
形容词排外的、除外的、全部的、唯一的、独有的、独占的、专用的 of。
The hotel charges $20 a day, exclusive of meals.
饭店每天收费20元，不包括用餐。
Germane
形容词有密切关系的、贴切的 germ， 基因上很有关系的，就是关系密切的。
Her remarks could not have been more germane to the discussion.
她的言论跟这个讨论很有关联。
John is apt to be impulsive.
约翰易于冲动。
It was an apt remark.
这话讲得得体。
He is apt at painting.
他善于绘画。
Applicable
形容词能应用的、可适用的、适当的、合适的。
The new law is applicable from next Monday.
新法令下个星期一开始实施。
This rule is not applicable to foreigners.
这项规定不适用于外国人。
Pertain
动词从属、附属、有关、关于。动词相符 be congruous to。
We own the house and the land pertaining to it.
我们拥有这所房子和附属的土地。
This lesson pertains to marine animals.
这一课讲海洋动物。
Her conduct hardly pertains to a lady.
她的行为与女士身份不太相符。Her conduct is hardly congruous to a lady.
Pertinent
形容词相关的、有关的 to。 形容词恰当的、中肯的、贴切的 pertinent。 一直拿住的就是一直有关、相关。
The lawyer wanted to know all the details pertinent to the case.
律师想知道与该案有关的全部细节。
It might be pertinent for you to make the suggestion to the president.
你向总裁提这个建议可能比较恰当。
Apposite.
形容词适当的、贴切的 apposite 正义放的位置很好，适当的。
Clothes that are apropos to the occasion.
适合那个场合的衣服。
Apropos.
形容词适当的、切题的、中肯的 appropriate apropos.
Apropos what you said yesterday, I think you made the right decision.
关于你昨天所说的，我认为你做决定是对的。
Apt.
形容词易于的、有倾向的，形容词恰当的、贴切的，形容词聪明的、反应灵敏的 apt。
Prone.
形容词倾斜的、有倾向的、易于的 to it subject to.
Mother is prone to headaches.
我母亲经常头痛。
The country is subject to earthquakes.
这个国家常遭地震。
The government is subject to this party's supervision.
这个政党受政府的监督 it subject to 受某事物控制。
He is not subject to discipline.
他不守纪律 it subject to 受某事物控制。
Relevant, related, appropriate, fitting, allied, connected, suitable, proper, apt, applicable, pertinent, apposite, apropos.
形容词有密切关系的、贴切的、合适的。
Deprave.
使堕落，使恶化技法 deprave 音读 play 整天在下面玩堕落。
Depraved.
形容词堕落的、颓废的、卑鄙的。
A depraved character mind.
一个堕落的、颓废的人。
Depravity.
名词堕落。
Someone who can kill a child like that must be totally depraved.
会杀掉小孩的人是完全人格沦丧的。
A life of depravity.
腐化的生活。
She may be accused of tenderness, but never of depravity.
也许有人会指控他太心软，但绝不会指控他是堕落的。
Deprecate.
动词反对、轻视 depreciate.
We deprecate this use of company funds for political purposes.
我们反对将公司的资料用于政治用途。
Deprecating.
形容词不赞成的、不以为然的。
He shrugged the suggestion off with a deprecating smile.
他耸耸肩，不以为然地笑了笑，把这项建议搁在一边。
She reacted to his compliments with a deprecating laugh.
他用一个不以为然的笑声来回应他的自己的赞美。
Indolent.
形容词懒惰的、好逸恶劳的、懒散的。形容词进展缓慢的、顽性的、愈合缓慢的 slothful。
An indolent worker.
一个懒惰的工人。
An indolent tumor.
进展缓慢的肿瘤。
unresponsive.
形容词反应迟钝的、感受性迟钝的、无同情心的。
Depression can make a new mother unresponsive to her baby.
忧郁可以让一个母亲对她的孩子毫无反应。
The company has been unresponsive to her efforts to discuss a settlement.
公司一直对他想和解的努力无所回应。
Supersede.
动词淘汰取代 supersede。别人已经坐在你的位置上，所以你已经被淘汰取代。
Most of the old road has been superseded by the great interstate highways.
大部分的旧路都已经大修的洲际公路被取代。
Replace, displace, usurp, supplant, remove, take over, oust.
动词取代。
Supercilious.
形容词自大的、傲慢的、目空一切的技法，自大的人是 supercilious 的 supercilious。
Imperious.
技法傲慢的、专横的 imper 命令即 imper 命令 ironious 很多的很多命令很多要求的。
Yuhan spoke to the drill master in an imperious voice.
于涵用傲慢的口气对教官说话。
Imperial.
形容词帝王的、至尊的 empire 帝国大企业。
Vainglorious.
形容词非常自负的、虚荣心强的。
He is regarded as a vainglorious fool.
他被认是一个自负的笨蛋。
That is not vainglorious boasting, it is a statement of cold, sober fact.
这不是自吹自擂，这只是一个被冷淡严肃陈述的事实。
Scornful, arrogant, contemptuous, disdainful, lordly, proud, lofty, patronizing, condescending, imperious, snooty, haughty, vainglorious.
形容词自大的、傲慢的。
Justly.
副词公正的、理由充分的、正当地。
He was treated justly.
他受到公正对待。
They were justly punished.
他们得到应有的惩罚。
Peril.
名词危险。
You are in great peril.
你的处境极其危险。
Perilous.
形容词危险的。
The journey through the jungle was perilous.
穿过丛林的旅行充满了危险。
Jaunt.
名词短程旅行 outing, trip, excursion。
Jaunty.
形容词快活的、活泼的、轻快的 jaunt 去旅行很高兴快活的。
The happy children walk with jaunty steps.
快乐的孩子们跳跳蹦蹦地走路。
Jubilant.
形容词欢呼的、喜洋洋的 jubilant 技法就比人好高兴。
The fans were jubilant at about over their team's victory.
粉丝们对于自己支持的队伍胜利而感到欢欣鼓舞的。
Jubilation.
名词，欢庆、庆祝活动。
There was jubilation in the crowd as the superstar stepped on the stage.
那位巨星一上台，群众欢欣鼓舞。
Nicety.
名词，美好、准确、精密、纤细、细节。
The nicety of talk about copyright restrictions.
关于版权细节的说法。
Ken.
名词，眼界、知识范围、理解范围。Can 记法 can 懂的东西就是会做的东西，不会做就是超出理解范围。Compress.
Financial matters are beyond my ken, I'm afraid.
财务金融超出我能理解的范围，我不是很拿手。
That area is beyond my ken.
这方面超出我的能力。
Keen.
形容词，敏锐的、锐利的、厉害的。On 形容词，激烈的、强烈的、渴望的。On
Mrs. Miller is very keen on art.
米勒太太对艺术很感兴趣。
She is very keen to visit Canada.
她渴望去加拿大玩。
His eyes were still keen.
他的目光依然敏锐。
Avid, eager, earnest, devoted, intense, fierce, enthusiastic, passionate, ardent, fervent, impassioned, zealous, ebullient, wholehearted, fervid.
形容词，兴高采烈的，精力充沛的。
After we won the national championship, the mood pervading through our team has been ebullient.
在得到总冠军之后，整个球队的气氛都是热情洋溢的。
Ebullience.
名词，奔放、兴高采烈、沸腾。
Colleagues all admired her youthful ebullience.
他的同事都很欣赏他的奔放与热情。
Ebullient.
形容词，兴高采烈的，精力充沛的。Ebullient.
Knack.
名词，熟练技术，巧妙的手法，诀窍，技法。很 knack 应景的人就是很有 knack 办法。
He has a knack for making furniture.
他有做家具的熟练技能。
There's a knack to baking a good cake.
烘烤美味的蛋糕是有窍门的。
Ingenuous.
形容词，淳朴的，单纯的。
It was rather ingenuous of him to ask a complete stranger to take care of his luggage.
他居然叫一个陌生人帮他顾行李，只能说他真的好傻，好天真。
Ingenious.
形容词，灵敏的，精巧的，聪明的。
The ingenious boy made a radio set for himself.
这个聪明的男孩自己做了一台收音机。
It took a lot of imagination to come up with such an ingenious plan.
设计出如此巧妙的方案，需有极大的想象力。
Facility, capacity, expertise, craft, flair, competence, ingenuity, propensity, aptitude, dexterity, adroitness.
名词，熟练技术，巧妙的手法，诀窍，能力。
Knob.
名词，圆形的门把。
No.
名词，圆的小山丘技法从 no 上面 roll 下来。
Abduct.
动词，诱拐绑走 abduct 往歪斜的地方引导，就是把人家拐走。
The company director was abducted from his car by terrorists.
那公司的执行长把恐怖分子从他的车上绑走。
Abduction.
名词，绑架。
Cases of child abduction.
诱拐儿童案件。
Wayward.
形容词，任性的、不定的、刚愎的技法，一直都用自己的方式way 前进 ward 就是很任性的 wayward。
In a wayward mood, he ran away from home.
他任性的离家出走了。
Waywardness.
名词，任性、不忠实、难控制。
I felt a perverse desire to accept his challenge.
他向我挑战，我就偏要应战。
They take a perverse pleasure in displeasing the boss.
他们惹老板生气，从为傲中得到快乐。
A perverse judgment.
罔顾事实的裁决。
Perversion.
曲解颠倒。
A perversion of justice.
对正义的歪曲。
Perverse.
形容词，走上邪路的，故意作对的 perverse 从始至终没有走在对的路上，就是很邪恶堕落的。
Capricious.
名词，变化无常的、任性的技法，卡比受变化无常。
Capacious.
形容词，容量大的、宽敞的 capacity outs 能抓住很多东西的，表示容量大的。
Capacity.
名词，容量。名词，能力、才能、资格、容量。
Obstinate.
形容词，固执的、倔强的 obstinate 往不好的方面一直坚持，就是很固执的、倔强的。
She was as obstinate as a mule.
她固执的像头驴子。
These weeds are really very obstinate.
这些草实在难以除尽。
Obdurate.
形容词，固执的、顽固。形容词，并等难治的、难以控制的。obdurate 往不好的方面一直坚持，就是很固执的、倔强的。
Erratic and rude, disobedient, perverse, fickle, capricious, obstinate, headstrong, incorrigible, obdurate, ungovernable, insubordinate, or rebellious.
形容词，任性的、不服从的、反抗的。
Insubordinate behavior.
违抗命令的行为 defiant, rebellious。
Insubordinate.
形容词，不服从的、反抗的。
Languid.
形容词，疲倦的、无力的、阴沉的 languid。
The illness made him feel languid.
疾病使他感到倦怠乏力。
Languor.
名词，无精打采、虚弱无力。
A feeling of languor crept over him.
一种懒洋洋的感觉渐渐传遍他的全身。
Languorous.
形容词，令人倦怠的 languorous。
His dark eyes were languorous and heavy-lidded.
他布满黑眼圈的眼神很疲惫，眼皮看起来很重。
Torpid.
形容词，麻痹的、迟缓的、迟钝的技法。天气太热脱皮了，脑袋也迟钝了。
The whole class is in torpid silence.
整班的学生懒散且不出一声。
Inactive, indifferent, lethargic, weary, sluggish, inert, listless, unenthusiastic, languorous, lackadaisical, torpid.
形容词，令人倦怠的。
Legacy.
名词，祖先传下来之物，遗赠物 legacy 透过法律留下来给子孙的东西。
Inherit a legacy.
继承遗产。
His uncle left him a legacy of $50,000.
他叔父给他留下5万元遗产。
Books are the legacies that a great genius leaves to mankind.
书是伟大的天才留给人类的精神财富。
Heirloom.
名词，祖传遗物、传家宝 heirloom 技法，继承人得到一台织布机当成传家宝。
Bequest, inheritance, endowment, bestowment, heirloom.
名词，祖先传下来之物，遗赠物。
Fluorescent.
形容词，荧光的、发亮的 fluorescent 技法，种子发光就很像花朵散发香味一样。
Kids love to watch firebugs giving out fluorescent lights in the night.
孩子喜欢看萤火虫能在夜晚发出荧光。
The compound emits blue fluorescence.
这团混合物发出蓝光。
Luminous.
形容词，发光的、明亮的、清楚明白的。
A public square luminous with sunlight.
阳光普照的广场。
A luminous speech.
明白易懂的演讲。
Hallmark.
名词，纯度检验证明、品质证明。特点，动词，加盖纯度检验证明 hallmark of something 对某物的品质保证。
A system of open justice in this country is the hallmark of a democratic society.
一个公开公正的系统是民主社会最重要的特点。
Liable.
形容词，易于的、有倾向的。形容词，负有法律责任的、有义务的。技法，可赖在某人身上的。Someone is liable for something. 某人要对某事负责。
The shipping company will be liable for damage.
运输公司将对损坏负责。
The law holds parents liable if a child does not attend school.
法律规定，若孩童没有就学，家长需负法律责任。
He's liable to say anything that comes into his head.
他常常想到什么说什么。
Every man is liable to error.
每个人都会犯错误。
Latent.
形容词，潜伏的、隐性的、休眠的 latent， 迟迟不出现的就是潜伏的。
His latent ability.
他潜在的能力。
Latent virus.
潜伏性病毒。
Latency.
名词，潜伏，潜在 latency period， 潜伏期。
Lucrative.
形容词，有利益的、获利的、合算的 lucrative， 预计可以赚很多钱财的 lucrative。
A lucrative investment.
赚钱的投资。
Gainful.
形容词，唯利是图的，有报酬的。
It's not a gainful occupation, it's a hobby.
前者不是赚的工作，而是业余爱好。
Remunerative.
形容词，有报酬的，有利润的，复仇的，有利可图的 remunerative， 用劳动去把钱换回来的，就是有报酬的 remunerative。
He is prepared to make a living by accepting any remunerative chore.
为了生计，他准备接受任何有酬报的杂活。
Lucrative, profitable, rewarding, productive, fruitful, advantageous, gainful, remunerative.
形容词，有利益的，获利的。
Larceny.
名词，盗窃罪 larceny。
Larcenous.
形容词，窃盗的，犯窃盗罪的。
They are nothing more than larcenous thugs.
他们是实在的窃盗恶棍。
This amendment is larcenous and ludicrous.
这个修正案真是十足窃盗又荒唐。
Ludicrous.
形容词，可笑的、滑稽的、荒唐的 ridiculous。
Ludicrousness.
名词，滑稽、荒唐、可笑。
We didn't know whether to laugh or cry at the sheer ludicrousness of the situation.
这种荒唐可笑的情景，我们真的不知道该哭还是该笑。
Burlesque.
名词，做戏、滑稽表演。形容词，滑稽的、可笑的。动词，嘲弄的、模仿，透过模仿取笑。
By taking bribes, the judge made a burlesque of his high office.
那位法官受了贿赂，嘲弄了自己的高位。名词，用法。
A burlesque show.
滑稽歌舞杂剧。形容词，用法。
He wrote the play to burlesque a politician.
他写了一场剧用来讽刺某政客。
Parody.
名词，模仿性嘲弄文章或表演，拙劣的模仿 parody， 模仿人家唱歌。
Ridiculous, absurd, preposterous, laughable, farcical, outlandish, nonsensical, burlesque.
形容词，滑稽的、可笑的。
Loophole.
名词，窥孔、换气孔、射孔、小孔、漏洞。
Find a loophole in the law.
找到法律的漏洞。
They plan to close a loophole that allows businesses to avoid paying off redundant workers.
他们计划要把企业资遣员工的漏洞补起来。
Sanction.
名词，认可、批准、赞许、支持、鼓励。名词，国际制裁。
Official sanction has not yet been given.
尚未获得正式批准。
There is no sanction for autocracy.
没有人赞成独裁统治。
The Union imposed economic sanctions against Iraq.
联合国对伊拉克实施经济制裁。
Evade.
动词，规避、逃避、躲避。Evade 走出去就是在躲避某事。Evade.
Give me a direct answer and stop evading the issue.
给我一个直截了当的回答，不要回避这一问题。
Evasion.
名词，逃避、借口。
Illegal non-payment of tax is tax evasion.
不合法的不上税是逃税。
His answers to my questions were all evasions.
他对我的问题的回答均为顿词。
Avoid, escape, dodge, shun, elude, eschew, circumvent.
动词，规避、逃避、躲避。
Microcosm.
名词，小宇宙、小世界、人类。Microcosm.
The human body is sometimes seen as a microcosm of the universe.
人体也被视之为宇宙的缩影。
Epitomize.
动词，写的梗概，作为的缩影。
Epitome.
名词，典型、摘要。Epitome.
The United States considers itself as the epitome of democracy.
美国自认为是民主的象征。
He was the epitome of the fashionable gentleman.
他是绅士的典范。
Quintessence.
名词，典型、原。Quintessence 自然是第五元素。解又称为以太。过去炼金术的主要目的就是炼出此种物质。
The quintessence of diplomacy.
外交手腕极灵活的人。
Embody.
动词，体现使具体化。动词，包含收录。
This Statue of Liberty embodies the spirit of freedom.
自由女神像体现了热爱自由的精神。
The experiments of 10 scientists were embodied in the report.
10位科学家的试验情况收入了那份报告。
Embodiment.
名词，具体化、化身。
He was the embodiment of the English gentleman.
他就是英国绅士的体现。
Exemplar.
名词，模范、榜样。
Exemplary.
形容词，可仿效的，可做模范的。
An exemplary student and exemplary father.
模范学生父亲。
Personification, essence, embodiment, representation, norm, archetype, exemplar, quintessence.
名词，典型、典范、缩影。
Stipulate.
动词规定保证。
He stipulated payment in advance.
他规定要预先付款。
He pledged never to come back until he had found her.
他发誓不找到她绝不回来。
I pledged myself to fulfill the promise I had made.
我保证实践自己的诺言。
The property was pledged as security for loans.
这地产被当作贷款的抵押。
Everyone at the table stood up and pledged the success of the new company.
桌上每个人都起立。
Pledge.
名词保证、誓言、信物；名词抵押、典当品；名词祝愿、祝酒。
I gave him my pledge that I would vote for him.
我向他保证我将投他的票。
She left her watch as a pledge with the taxi driver.
他将手表留给计程车司机作为抵押。
Take this ring as a pledge of friendship.
将这只戒指拿去作为友谊的信物吧。
We drank a pledge to their success.
我们举杯祝愿他们成功。
Postulate.
动词要求、假定、是、谓当然；名词假定、基本条件、基本原理 axiom post are at。
The Constitution of the United States postulates that all men are created equal.
美国的宪法假设人都是生来平等的。
Pledge.
动词保证、誓言、抵押；动词典当；动词举杯祝、举杯祝福。
Postulation.
名词假定、假设、要求。
The law stipulates that new cars must have seat belts for the driver and every passenger.
新的法律规定，所有的新车上都必须要有安全带给车上的司机和乘客。
Stipulation.
名词约定、规定、契约、条文。
Is there any stipulation concerning the number of people attending the conference?
关于要有多少人参加那场会议有规定吗？
The only stipulation is that you have to register.
唯一的规定就是你必须要注册。
Covenant.
名词盟约、公约、契约；动词缔结盟约、立约、承诺。
I covenanted to pay $5,000 a year to rebuild the college.
我立书保证每年付$5000帮助重建。动词用法。
We covenant to support each other.
我们签订契约会协助彼此。
The contract contained a restrictive covenant against building on the land.
这份合约上包含了限定在这土地上盖建物的公约。名词用法。
Specify, require, contract, pledge, covenant, postulate.
动词规定、保证。
Mandate.
名词命令、指令、要求；动词委任统治 mandate。
Carry out a mandate.
执行一项命令。名词用法。
Mandatory.
形容词，命令的、托管的、强迫的 demand, authority demand, 要求。
In many countries, it is mandatory for a young man aged 18 to enlist in the army.
在许多国家中，一个年轻男子到了18岁就必须要去从军。
Magnet.
名词，磁铁，有吸引力的人。
The West Lake in Hangzhou is a magnet for visitors.
杭州西湖使游客流连忘返。
Magnet.
名词，大官、巨头，实业界的巨擘、大王、要人、权贵。
An oil magnate is steel magnet.
石油大亨，石油大亨。
Tycoon.
名词，企业大亨、技法大军。
Baron.
名词，男爵、贵族、巨头、大王、技法别郎。
A baron of industry.
工业界巨子。
Manifest.
动词，表明、显示、表露；形容词，显然的、明白的、清楚的。
Fear was manifest on his face.
他脸上显露出恐惧的表情。动词，用法。
Yuhan manifested signs of severe depression.
雨涵出现了严重抑郁症的症状。动词，用法。
She doesn't manifest much desire to marry him.
他没有表白真想嫁给他的意愿。动词，用法。
The illness first manifested itself as severe stomach pains.
这个疾病的症状一开始是以胃痛来呈现。
His nervousness was manifest to us.
我们都看出他很紧张。形容词用法。
Blatant.
形容词，喧嚣的、吵闹的、俗丽的、炫耀的 loud and 很吵的一个人，爱现又很俗气。
A blatant lie.
弥天大谎。
The whole episode was a blatant attempt to gain publicity.
撒狗血的剧情只为了要增加名气。
Yuhan's behavior and the way she spoke showed a blatant lack of respect to the drill master.
雨涵对教官的行为以及说话的方式是明显大胆的不尊重。
To be blatant about.
对，毫不忌讳。
Palpable.
形容词，可触知的、可摸到的、极其明了的 palpable， 感觉得到的，就是可明了的 palpable。
The residents of the city are experiencing palpable signs of progress after the new mayor took office.
新市长上任之后，市民感受到显而易见的进步。
He's got cold sweat running all over his face, so his pains are directly palpable.
他冷汗直流，痛苦的程度可以明显感受得到。
Meager.
形容词，贫乏的、不毛的、瘦的 meager。
The money he earned only scratched a meager living.
他所赚的钱只够糊口。
He could not support his family on his meager salary.
他靠微薄的薪资无法养家。
Meager cultural resources.
贫乏的文化资源。
Pauper.
名词，平民、乞丐。
Pauperize.
动词，使贫穷，使成为平民。
The war pauperized most population of the country.
战争使得那个一国家的人民都变成乞丐。
Muse.
动词，沉思、冥想 about, on, upon, over. 名词，灵感、源泉。
The teacher asks the students to muse about what they will do when they grow up.
老师请学生仔细思考长大后做什么。
I began to muse about the possibility of starting my own business.
我开始仔细思考自己创业的可能性。
His muse had deserted him, and he could no longer write.
他将郎才尽，再也写不出东西了。
Meditate.
动词，想、考虑、计划、打算、思、反省。
To meditate doing STH.
考虑要做某事。
He meditated on the consequences of his decision.
他仔细思考他所做的决定的结果。
Sophie meditates for 20 minutes every day.
Sophie 每天花20分钟冥想。
Meditation.
名词，深思、冥想。
I'm sorry to interrupt your meditations.
我很抱歉打断你思考问题了。
He reached his decision only after much meditation.
他经过认真思考后才做出了决定。
Temper.
动词，玩弄、损害；动词，削弱、篡改；动词，贿赂。
The letters may have been tampered with.
这封信有可能被篡改过。不及物动词，用法。
Why would he tamper the document?
他为什么要篡改这份文件？及物动词，用法。
Please don't tamper with the clock radio.
请不要瞎搞那只收音机闹钟。
There were not many employees who had the opportunity and capability of tampering with the products.
公司里没有几个员工有机会，也没有那种能力能中瞎搞篡改他们的产品。
Tamper with an official.
贿赂官员。
Temper.
名词，脾气。
She has a sweet temper.
他脾气温和。
His father is in a temper today.
他父亲今天在发脾气。
She kept her husband in temper.
她使丈夫保持冷静。
A worker with a bad temper would tamper the product.
Temper versus tamper 记法，一个脾气不好的工人会乱搞产品。
Predator.
名词，掠夺者，食肉动物。Predat on.
Predatory insect.
名词，肉食性昆虫。
Menace.
名词，威胁、恐吓、危险的事物。动词，威胁、恐吓、危急。
Yuan usually spoke with menace in a voice which is like somehow threatening her students.
雨涵常常说话的声音中带住威胁，听起来就像是在威胁学生什么。
The robber menaced him with a revolver.
强盗用左轮手枪威吓他。
Merriment.
名词，欢乐、欢乐、欢笑、欢闹、笑柄 jubilance。
His strange new hairstyle was the cause of much merriment in his class.
他那新奇的发饰成为班上的笑柄。
Miscellaneous.
形容词，混杂的、五花八门的、各种各样的、多才多艺的。
A miscellaneous collection of goods.
一堆杂货。
She has a miscellaneous talent.
他多才多艺。
Make do with.
片语，凑合住用 manage with。
I'll have to make do with my old coat this winter.
今年冬天我只好穿旧外套凑合了。
We were in such a hurry that we had to make do with a quick meal.
我们很匆忙，只好将就住吃了顿快餐。
When a typhoon is raging, residents are often caught without water and electricity, so they have to make do with what they have.
台风来时，住户经常没有电也没有水，所以他们只好将就住过。
Turmoil.
名词，混乱、骚动。
The city was in a turmoil.
该城一片混乱。
Her mind was in turmoil.
他的心里一片混乱。
Mushroom growth of something.
某物如雨后春笋般的增加。
Morale.
名词，士气、斗志、道德。
The army recovered its morale and fighting power.
这支军队恢复了士气和战斗力。
Low morale in the police department was a continuing problem.
警戒士气持续低落是一个问题。
High morale helps teamwork and information sharing.
高士气注意了团体和资讯的替换。
High bonus is a good morale booster.
高奖金是非常激励士气的方式。
Moral.
名词，道德、品行、寓意；形容词，道德的、品性端正的、良心的。
What is the moral of this story?
这个故事的寓意是什么？名词，用法。
Some people have no business morals.
有些人毫无商业道德。名词，用法。
On moral grounds.
基于道德原因。
He refused the request on moral grounds.
基于道德上的考虑，他拒绝了这个请求。
My grandmother was a very moral woman. She'd never allow cursing.
我祖母是很讲究道德的。
Conciliate.
动词，安慰、赢得、调和 conciliate， 两边都叫过来调解一下 conciliate。
It is hard to conciliate their views.
他们的看法殊难调和。
Placate.
动词，抚慰，使和解，怀柔 placate， 把你安置好，就是在抚慰你。
outraged minority groups will not be placated by promises of future improvements.
那些愤怒的弱势团体并没有被那些未兑现的承诺所平息。
Placation.
名词，安抚、劝解。
Propitiate.
动词，使息怒、抚慰、取悦。Propitiate 把你摆到第一位，就是在抚慰你。
Propitiation.
名词，抚慰、劝解、补偿、赎罪。
The purpose of these sculptures was propitiation of the gods.
这些雕刻品的目的是作为安抚神祇的方式。
In those days, people might sacrifice a goat or sheep to propitiate an angry god.
古时候，人们会用献祭羊的方式来平息发怒的神祇。
Pacify, reconcile, appease, placate, mollify, propitiate.
动词，抚慰。
Take the moonlight.
做兼差。
Avocado.
烙梨。
Avocation.
名词，个人副业、业余爱好。Vocation 并不是真的职业，就是副业。
Blunder.
名词，大错、大失策。动词，失策、犯错、做错、绊倒、跌跌撞撞的走，慌乱的、欠考虑的说出。Outland, blind 瞎了眼做事才会出错，闭住眼走路才会跌撞撞的。
I made a blunder by getting his name wrong.
我把他的名字搞错了而铸成大错。名词，用法。
He has blundered again.
他又出漏子了。动词，用法。
He blundered out a secret.
他无意中泄露了秘密。动词，用法。
He blundered out at the bar.
他跌跌撞撞地走出了酒吧。
Gaffe.
名词，失礼、失态，社交和外交上。False pass.
I made a gaffe.
我失礼了。
You started eating before anyone else had been served. What a gaffe.
你在大家开动前就先吃了，真是太失礼了吧。
Indiscreet.
形容词，无分别的、轻率的、欠慎重的。Indiscreet.
It was indiscreet of her to say that.
她说那种话是很不审慎的。
Indiscretion.
名词，轻率、不慎重、言行失检、不明智行为。
She had the indiscretion to talk about family matters in front of strangers.
她轻率地在陌生人面前谈论家庭私事。
Oversight, gaffe, indiscretion, impropriety, faux pas, gaucherie.
名词，失礼、失态。
Gaucherie.
名词，笨拙、不老练的行为、方式或表情。笨拙谐音狗吃屎 grocery 技法太买 grocery 的行为看起来很像 grocery。
Faux pas.
名词，外交、社交上的错误。
Markedly.
副词，显著的、醒目的、明显的。
She has markedly changed her eating habits.
它显著地改变他的饮食习惯。
To be deteriorating markedly.
急剧恶化。
Patent.
名词，专利权、执照、专利品、特征。形容词，专利的、显著的、明显的。动词，取得的专利权。
A patent of intellectuality.
知识分子的特征。名词，用法。
It was a patent impossibility.
这显然是不可能。形容词。
The scientist patented her invention.
这位科学家得到他的发明的专利权。动词，用法。
Noticeably, obviously, patently, notably, considerably, remarkably, evidently, manifestly, distinctly, strikingly, conspicuously, outstandingly.
副词，显著的、醒目的、明显的。
Mystify.
动词，使大惑不解，使大感惊奇，欺骗、蒙蔽，使神秘化。
His sudden disappearance mystified the police.
他的突然失踪使警方大惑不解。
She was mystified about what happened.
他实在搞不清楚发生了什么事。
Befogged.
形容词，被困惑的，头脑不清的。
Befog.
动词，以雾笼罩，使困惑。
Mystifying.
形容词，使人困惑的。
The truth of this story is mystifying.
那个故事的真相真是令人感到困惑。
It's mystifying to me that students can spend so much time playing with cell phones.
我对学生为何能花那么多时间在玩手机上而感到困惑。
Elude.
动词，逃避、规避。elude， 伪装成别人然后逃走。动词，使困惑。技法，笨学生叫一路的，对所有学科都很困惑。
The fox succeeded in eluding the hunters.
这狐狸成功地避过了猎手。
The gold medal continues to elude her.
他持续和金牌失之交臂。
I know who you mean, but her name eludes me.
我知道你在说谁，但我想不起他的名字。
She tried to remember his face, but it eluded her.
他想记起他的脸，可怎么也想不起来。
Elusive.
形容词，难懂的、遗忘的、难捉摸的。
The answers to these questions remain as elusive as ever.
这些问题的答案还是那么难解。
He remained as elusive as ever.
他还是那样令人难以捉摸。
Puzzle, confuse, baffle, bewilder, elude, confound, befog, be all Greek to informal.
动词，以雾笼罩，使困惑。
Elucidate.
动词，阐明、说明。elucid， 清楚地表达出来，就是在阐明事情。
I don't understand. You'll have to elucidate.
我不太懂，你必须解释一下。
We were greatly illuminated by the discussion.
这次讨论对我们启发很大。
The streets were illuminated for the celebration.
街道为庆祝张灯结彩。
Illuminate.
动词照明、阐明、说明。动词照亮、照亮、照射。用灯装饰。动词使用光焕发 illumine。用灯来照亮里面，就是在说明 illuminate。
A smile illuminated her face.
微笑使她容光焕发。
Annotate.
动词注解，注解给做注解 not at 给他下了一个笔记，就是给注解 annotate。
Annotated editions of Shakespeare's plays help readers to understand old words.
有注释版的版本能帮助读者真的了解莎剧里使用的古字。
Annotation.
名词注解、评注 gloss。
Clarify, explain, illustrate, interpret, illuminate, expound, explicate, annotate.
动词照明、阐明、说明。
Drastic.
形容词激烈的、激烈的、猛烈的、严厉的、极端的 drastic。
The government took drastic measures to cure inflation.
政府采取严厉措施来处理通货膨胀。
Extreme, dramatic, radical, severe, harsh, dire, forceful.
形容词激烈的、激烈的、猛烈的。
Mundane.
形容词现世的、世俗的。形容词平凡的、乏味的 mundane 就像地上的尘土一样，非常世俗乏味的。
A mundane opening of a book.
一本书以极其乏味的方式开头。
Mundane matters such as paying bills and shopping for food do not interest her.
付账单、采买等贫乏的琐事并不令她感兴趣。
Prosaic.
形容词散文的、散文体的。形容词平凡的、乏味的 prosaic。
She keeps doing extreme sports to escape from the prosaic existence.
她持续以玩极限运动来逃避平淡无奇的生活。
No product is too prosaic to profit greatly by attractive packaging.
靠迷人的包装，任何商品就不会单调乏味，因而总能获利不小。
Monotonous.
形容词单调的、无变化的。
The preacher's monotonous voice put me to sleep.
传教士单调的声音催我入眠。
Humdrum.
形容词单调的、乏味的 humdrum 没有比泥土更加乏味单调的素材了。
Ordinary, routine, commonplace, banal, monotonous, prosaic.
形容词单调的、乏味的。
Millennium.
名词千禧年、1000年。
Millennia.
名词千年。
Toxic.
形容词有毒的、中毒的。
Toxic